Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Terrace. The student, staff, and parents of Mountlake Terrace High School very proud and pleased to welcome you to tonight's Wesco 3A men's basketball contest between the Glacier Peak Grizzlies and your Mountlake Terrace Hawks. This game is being played according to the rules of the WIAA, and these rules provide for fair competition among players. Spectators, you can also help promote sportsmanship by observing the rules of fair play. And the fans here at the Terraceum value our rich tradition of ensuring that every game embodies the spirit of great sportsmanship. So we invite you to
welcome to the Sound Live Sports Network, where tonight another big Wesco 3A South matchup between Mountlake Terrace and Glacier Peak. I'm going to turn down my microphone while Vince DeMiro, the public address announcer, brings you the starting lineups.
For the Hawks, a 5'9" junior guard wearing number 15, Joey Gardner. For the Grizzlies, a 6'3" junior wearing number 10, Seaver Southard. For the Hawks, a 6'3" sophomore forward wearing number 23, Kyrie Armstead. For the Grizz, a 6'1" senior wearing number 21, Justin Guffey. For the Hawks, a 6'3" senior forward wearing number 25, Gabe Altenberger. For Glacier Peak, a 6'3" sophomore wearing number 30, Bobby Martin. For the Hawks, a 6'3" senior forward wearing number 35, Derek Enima. And finally for the Grizzlies, 6'5" senior wearing number 33, Kyle Dvorak. And finally for Mountlake Terrace, a 6'5" senior post wearing number 41, Shimron Masih. Head coach for Glacier Peak is Brian Hunter. Head coach for the Hawks is Nayland Sood. He's assisted by Johnny Phillips, Greg Wirtz, Al Shannon, Tim Cashman, and Anthony Asbury. The Hawks trainer, Shannon Ripley. The manager is Matthew Guardiano. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we are just about ready to play some basketball. Quick reminder, the concession stand is open just outside the Terraceum. And tonight's game is a regular school function, and that means the use of alcoholic beverages or tobacco products anywhere on the Terrace campus is strictly prohibited by Washington state law. Once again, welcome to the Terraceum and Mountlake Terrace High School.
So once again, welcome to the Sound Live Sports Network. Steve Willits, and I will be joined by Irvin Zhang very shortly here, a student at Mountlake Terrace High School. And tonight we are bringing you Wesco 3A South basketball, a huge division matchup between the Mountlake Terrace Hawks, the home team fighting for second place, versus the Glacier Peak Grizzlies, a team that is coming into this game with a 4-5 record, tied for third place overall with Shorewood, trying to stay out of that number 4 spot where you have to have a play-in game. Both teams are trying to get into the number 2 spot, which is currently being occupied by Mountlake Terrace, a 5-3 team in conference play. And here we go. We are underway. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks wearing the home whites. They will have the first possession of the game as they win the tip. That's Joey Gardner. Gardner driving left side, puts up a floater, leaves it a bit short. Nice defense by Justin Guffey. Gardner might have tried to force that one a little bit. Might have hurt himself in the process, too. We're watching him wince a little right now. We'll see what happens here. Southard throws the ball over to Bobby Martin, the sophomore who had 28 points in the game last week. Misses the shot. Justin Guffey gets the rebound. Kicks it back to Seaver Southard. And we'll get to the lineups here shortly, as you may have already heard them as Vince DeMiro, our public address announcer, did broadcast them over the airwaves just a few minutes ago. That's Zach Hatch for 3. He hits. Hatch, who averaged 20 points per game in 2 games last week for Glacier Peak, 2 victories, gets them on board first. Grizzlies with the early 3-0 lead. Hawks looking to answer now. It's Kyrie Armstead, the sophomore, with the ball. 6'3" sophomore. He's looking over at Gabe Altenberger, the 6'3" senior. He has a floater from 8 feet out, misses it. Everybody going up for it. Last touched by the Hawks. They're going to say Glacier Peak basketball. Get you the rest of the starting lineup here right now for Mountlake Terrace. 6'5" senior, number 41, Shimron Masih. Number 35, the 6'3" senior, Derek Anima. And rounding it out, Joey Gardner, the 5'8" junior guard. Get you Glacier Peak here in just a moment. Glacier Peak looking down low. Southard, nice pass to Dvorak. Dvorak cutting to the basket. Gets the easy shot along the right side. 5-0 Glacier Peak early. Derek Anima on the other end, and we will, as we promised, get you the Glacier Peak starters here in just a minute. Number 10, Seaver Southard. He's a 6'3" junior. His brother Brady was a starter on this team last year. He's now at the University of Montana as a student. We also have number 33, Kyle Dvorak. He's a 6'5" senior. Also picks up a foul there, the first team foul against Glacier Peak. Zach Hatch is a 6'1" senior. Justin Guffey, a 6'1" senior, wearing the number 21. And then, as we mentioned earlier, Bobby Martin, the only sophomore on the court for Glacier Peak, the only sophomore on their varsity roster. He's wearing the number 30, and he is 6'3". Altenberger in the left corner. Swings it to Joey Gardner. Gardner is going to set the offense back up on top. 6:09 to go here, first quarter. Glacier Peak with the early 5-0 lead. 21 seconds left on the shot clock. Anima finds a cutting Altenberger, and he lays one in.
Good aggressiveness attacking towards the paint.
The Hawks biding their time there, waited for the right play, and they finally found it. You're absolutely right. That was a gorgeous pass from Anima. Speaking of getting aggressive and finding your way into the paint, Hatch finds Martin down low, and Martin's going to pick up he's going to draw a foul, rather. He's going to go to the line shooting two as Masih gets called for the foul.
Great exploit by the Grizzlies to attack the back door. I mean, they left it wide open, and now he drew the foul and he's going to the line.
So Bobby Martin, the sophomore on a very senior-led team as Martin hits the first one. This is a Glacier Peak team that when you look at their main senior roster, now they're suiting up a couple of JV players tonight. Noah Foreman, who's a freshman. We may or may not see him, as well as Austin Petz, who's a junior. But when you look at the main lineup for Glacier Peak as Martin hits both of those shots, Martin is a sophomore. Southard is a junior. The rest of that team is composed of seniors. Hawks inbounding the ball, down by 5, 7-2, with 5:42 to go here in the first quarter of play. Derek Anima on the left wing kicks it into the corner. Altenberger has it. Gets it back over to Anima. Anima looks to drive, kicks it out to Masih. He's got an open three. Off the back of the rim, bounces around, and finally comes down into the hands of Joey Gardner. Keeps the offensive possession alive. New 35-second clock. Ball gets batted away briefly. Everybody going to the floor, and we get a foul called. Looks as though it's going to be called on Glacier Peak. Oh, they're going to call that on Joey Gardner. It's the first foul, or second foul rather, against the Hawks. $5:14 to go, first quarter. Bobby Martin with the ball. Going to go to his right. Spin move, floats one up, gets it to fall.
For a sophomore, that was a very senior-like move.
Yeah, he does not play like a sophomore, as we mentioned earlier. He had a 28-point game last week. Martin is a big part of what these Grizzlies are doing this year. Showing it here early with 4 points. Leading the Grizzlies in scoring so far tonight. Nice pass by Armstead, down low to Masih.
And that's another sophomore who does not like to play like a sophomore.
And he just keeps getting better and better. That's Kyrie Armstead, number 23. Southard going to pick up a pick from Dvorak. Finally gets it over to Martin, who gets it to Hatch. Guffey's going to finally take a three. Leaves it just a bit short. Hits the front of the iron. But a lot of contact as the teams go up for it. They're going to call a foul on number 33. That is Kyle Dvorak. Picks up his second foul already. And that's going to bring a substitution in the form of Brandon Tatro. Tatro, 6'2" senior, and he is a senior who is not afraid to shoot three-pointers, and he's not afraid to make them either. We've seen that time and time again, so we'll keep an eye on number 20 now that he's on the floor. Joey Gardner drawing a lot of contact. They're going to call a travel on the play, and Joey ends up on his stomach, and he hit the ground pretty hard as he has not gotten up yet. Do see him turning over, which is a good sign, but
Looks like he hit his head.
Shannon Ripley, the team trainer, is going to go out and tend to Joey. He said always good when you see him talking at the very least. And while he's being tended to, we'll take a quick break here. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Grizzlies ball. Gabe Powder checking in for Mountlake Terrace, number 11.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. We hope we're on the air. We didn't get a thumbs up from our cameraman, but at any rate, 4:06 to go here. First quarter, Joey Gardner unable to get up and get off the floor, and we will certainly keep you updated on him and hoping that he's doing okay. Zach Hatch thought about the three. Nice defense by Altenberger to get a hand in his face. Justin Guffey driving the lane, gets fouled. Doesn't get the basket, but it'll head to the line for two. Called it on Anima, his first third-team foul against the Hawks.
If the Grizzlies keep attacking like this, they'll be putting the Hawks in major foul trouble because they've already drawn fouls on crucial key players for the Hawks.
Anima, Massey, and Gardner all with a foul now for the Hawks as Guffey misses the first of two. Nine to 4. Glacier Peak with the early lead. And he misses the second shot as well as Armstead's able to come up with that rebound. Thought about dishing it off to a teammate, keeps it himself and gets it into the front court. Anima, underhand shot, misses it. Ball bouncing around. Massey comes away with it. He goes up hard, draws the foul, gets the basket, and he's heading to the line for a bonus.
What tough positioning and a move by Shimron.
Great job by Shimron. Two different players with hands in his face and manages to spin around and gets that shot up and draws the foul. This trip to the free throw line brought to you by our sponsors over at Edmonds Community College. Massey makes it a three-point play. He now has 5 points here in the first quarter. 3:32 to go. 9-7 Glacier Peak with the 2-point lead. Sieverd down low to Martin. Martin uses the backboard and gets that one to go. Bobby Martin now with 6 points here in the opening period. 11-7. Glacier Peak by 4. Armstead going from left to right. Kicks it into the corner. That's Anima. Anima to Altenberger for the long three. He misses it. Rebound coming down to Brendan Tatrolt. Tatrolt's going to kick it ahead. Throws a pass to Martin over his head and up against the brick wall. Out of bounds. That's going to be a turnover to the Hawks as Carson Dallas checks in for the first time tonight as Shimron Massey heads towards the bench.
I think the Hawks in this offensive sequence needs to attack the paint. They've been stagnant passing around the outside, but no attacking on the inside. No cutting, no post-ups, nothing.
Gabe Powder with the ball. He comes in for the injured Joey Gardner. Looking down low, trying to get a Ball over to Carson Dallas. Couldn't find him open. Finally kicks it over to Anima. Anima's going to go one-on-one with Martin. Floats one up from 8 feet out. Misses the runner. Southern comes away with the rebound. Kicks it over to Hatch. Hatch for three. He misses the shot. And coming over Kyrie Armstead's back is Justin Guffey. And Guffey's going to commit an easy foul for the refs to call. It's going to be his first. Fourth team foul against Glacier Peak. Hawks into the front court. Carson Dallas is going to pick up the offensive foul. Fourth team foul against the Hawks on 4 different players with 2:31 to go here in the first quarter. Glacier Peak trying to expand on their lead. And Gabe Powder's going to get called with a hand check. His first. Fifth team foul. And number 13, Daniel Johnson checking in for the first time tonight. The 6'2" junior comes in to spell Kyrie Armstead. 2:25 to go. First quarter. Seaver Southard gets it over the timeline to Bobby Martin. Back to Southard. Southard going up against the shorter Powder. Misses the shot. They're going to say it was last touched by Southard. Hawks ball.
Powder and Southern, that's a big mismatch. Take a look at Glacier Peak. I think they're going to utilize that size disadvantage that Powder has and try to attack him.
Powder on the other end kicks it over to Johnson. Johnson keeps it, finally gives it off to Altenberger. Altenberger going left to right, underhand shot, misses it. Hawks have put up a few of those underhand shots tonight and not having much luck with them. And Carson Dallas, who just checked into the game for the first time a couple of minutes ago, already picks up 2 quick fouls, and that's going to send him to the bench as Shimron Massis heads back into the game with 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Glacier Peak 11, Mountlake Terrace 7. Southern being guarded by Powder. Brandon Tatro with the ball right now. Gets over to Zach Hatch. Hatch is going to take the long three from the top of the key. Gets it. Hatch with his second three-pointer of the game. That one from 2 or 3 feet behind the three-point line. Powder gets it down low to Massey. Loses the ball momentarily. Finally loses it altogether, and Tatro comes away with it. Seaver Southard kicks over to Bobby Martin. Martin's going to drive baseline. Takes the defense up in the air and then gets the easy layup.
What a smart move. I'm having a hard time believing, Steve, that he is a sophomore. I'm serious about that.
A sophomore with 8 points here in the first quarter. 16-7, Glacier Peak with their largest lead of the game. And Shimron Massey draws the foul on the shot. He heads to the line as Guffey commits his second foul.
If you're Glacier Peak, you're really happy with the start. I mean, you've stopped everything the Hawks wanted to do and forced them to maybe go outside of what they're normally used to. I mean, look at their post defense. It's impeccable.
Massey makes the first, and this trip to the free throw line is brought to you by our friends over at Edmonds Community College. Scott Wilson checking into the game for the first time tonight for Glacier Peak. Massey coming into the game shooting 76% from the free throw line. Makes that one as well. He's now 3 for 3 here in the first quarter. Gives him 7 points here. 7 of the Terrace 9 points scored so far in the game. The other 2 coming from Gabe Altenberger. 1 minute to go in the quarter. 16-9, Glacier Peak in the early lead. That's Zach Hatch with the ball. Kicks it over to Bobby Martin. Brendan Tatro now with it, being guarded by Daniel Johnson. 11 to go on the shot clock. Martin at the top of the free throw line, kicks it over to Tatro. Tatro fakes Johnson into the air, drives into the lane from 14 feet out, misses it. Bobby Martin coming away with the offensive board. And Tatro throws it into the corner. Wilson not able to handle it. Big mistake for Glacier Peak as there was only 1 second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. And with 30.9 seconds to go in the quarter, rather than the Grizzlies trying to take the last shot of the quarter, Mountlake Terrace now has the basketball.
That was a good defensive sequence for Mountlake Terrace. You got to be happy with that. Although you got to see what you can get on the offensive end.
Gabe Powder, 18 to go. Let's see if the Hawks try to take the last shot here. They trail by 7. Kicks it over to Daniel Johnson. Johnson's going to look to drive into the lane. Puts a shot up from 7 feet out. Gets that one to fall. The junior with his first points of the night. 16-11. 4 seconds to go. Steal by Anima. 1 second. He's going to fire the long shot. Good if it goes. Misses it. And we've come to the end of the first quarter with our score. Glacier Peak 16. Mountlake Terrace 11. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Game, the Hawks on the road the next
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service.
A week from tonight at
Owned by a
Meadowdale,
lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway
the final
grad,
home game
Action
and
Jackson
night
is
for
the
Hawks
drain cleaning
is
specialist.
Monday, February
They can unclog
8th, right
most
here in the Terraceum against the T-Birds from Shorewood. Make sure you mark your calendars for that. Final regular season home game here on an unusual Monday night contest, February 8th. Grizzlies ball to begin the second period.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. The Hawks trailing by 5 after one quarter. Urban, we've seen this before, haven't we, this year?
Yeah, the slow start. I mean, if you look at the last game they had against the top of the Westco 3A South Division, it was a really slow start against Edmonds Woodway. For, I think it was 6 minutes. They had only 2 field goals, while Edmonds Woodway had basically had their way on offense. So this has been a key trend, and to the Hawks' disadvantage, it's happening again.
It seems to be a trend at home as well. We've mentioned it before. Games that they've come back and won even. They've trailed by Shorecrest by 10 at one point. Marysville-Pilchuck by 10. West Seattle by 8. Those were all at home, and they came back and won all of those games. Bobby Martin hits that shot, makes it 18-11. And they're going to have to do the same thing tonight here if they're going to win this one. They've already trailed by as many as 9. Trailing by 7 right now with 7:28 to go in the second quarter. And the sophomore continues to be hot. Martin now with 10 points here in the opening half. We still have over 7 minutes to go. Altenberger for 3. Off the mark. Derek Anima fighting for it and coming up with it. Altenberger thought about another 3. Gets by the defense. Draws the foul. Going to call that one on Hatch. First foul on Zach. 6th team foul against Glacier Peak, so one more and the Hawks will be in the bonus. Both teams with 6 team fouls now. Altenberger puts up a shot, misses it. Kyrie Armstead goes for the rebound and might run into Bobby Martin in the process, and I believe Martin's going to get called for the foul, and that is the case. His first. And Armstead will go to the line shooting 1-1. This trip to the free throw line brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Kyrie Armstead, a 70% free throw shooter on the year.
I have a strange feeling that free throws are going to be a huge part of the Hawks' offensive attack. I mean, how many of their points have already been free throws?
4 so far. 3 from Massey, and actually this is the first time it's been somebody other than Shimron who's shooting free throws. Armstead misses that one. Anima goes up, gets the offensive rebound twice, and finally gets that second shot to fall. Anima fighting hard to get his first points of the night. Makes it an 18-14 ball game.
And unofficially, that's Anima's 3rd rebound of the night. Offensive rebound, all of them, too.
Yeah, 2 coming on that one possession there. Wilson with the ball, gets it down to Martin. Throws out to Hatch. Hatch with another long 3. Misses this one. Daniel Johnson comes down with the board. Kicks it ahead to Armstead. The Hawks looking to push it. He finds Anima. Slows it back out to Armstead. 6:29 to go here, second quarter. 18-14. The Grizzlies with the early lead. Armstead for 3. Misses that shot. Altenberger gets a gift. He misses the reverse layup. Kicks the ball down to Massey. Massey loses it as Southern just picks his pocket. 3-on-2 coming here for the Grizzlies. Hatch gets Armstead in the air and finally goes up over Anima, gets the basket. And Glacier Peak's going to call a timeout. 30-second timeout. We'll take a 30-second break. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. 6:08 to go here in the second quarter. Glacier Peak jumping out to an early 5-0 lead, a lead they have yet to relinquish as the Hawks trying to come back, trail 20-14. Mountlake Terrace wearing the home white uniforms. Altenberger with the ball, thought about a three. Gets it back to Anima. Should mention this is the last time these two teams will play a regular season game against each other for a while as division competitors, as Armstead gets the layup. The sophomore gets the bucket. He now has 3 points on the night, 16-20. Glacier Peak heading up to be a 4A team next year. They could meet again in districts, but they won't meet again as 3A competitors in a regular season. As Southern grabs that ball. Hawks moving down to 2A. However, they're going to stay in the 3A division to play basketball and other sports. But it's a 4-year cycle now, so this might be the last time we see the Grizzlies and the Hawks out on the floor at the same time.
And as a person who just loves competitiveness, you kind of shed a tear for that,
It's been a good rivalry the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
Very close rivalry, and at times it's come down to first and second place with these teams. Armstead gets his hand on that ball. However, it does still find its way to Tatro. Gets it over to Hatch. That's Scott Wilson with the ball now. Kicks it over to Southard. Southard's going to put up a three, and he hits. Seaver Southard, his first bucket of the game. Increases that Grizzly lead to 23-16 as we're now down under 5 minutes to go here in the second quarter. I'd like to remind everyone to stick around at halftime for our Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show. Have a special interview coming up with a couple of folks from Mountlake Terrace. Invite you to stay for that as Derek Anima finds his way to the basket. Beautiful pass as well.
Oh, yeah.
23-18. Zach Hatch picks up a screen, gets into the lane, floats one up from 14 feet, and gets it to fall. Tough shot there for Hatch. Not much you can do about that one. He has 10 points tonight. 25-18 Grizzlies. Here comes Altenberger, hits it! Gabe Altenberger. He likes shooting against these Grizzlies. He had a game 2 years ago in which he hit 8 three-pointers against them. That's his first tonight. He has 5 for the ball game. Makes it a 25-21 score.
And that might be the bucket to make the bucket look a lot bigger. All you need is one, as a lot of shooters say.
We'll see if it helps him as Tatrell's going to kick it out to Hatch. Hatch already has 2 for the game. He's going to put up a shot just inside the line, and Zach Hatch is feeling it right now. That's his third field goal of the quarter. 12 points for the night for Hatch. 27-21 Glacier Peak. Daniel Johnson with the long 2. Misses the shot. Southern gets the rebound, looks deep, finds Hatch. Hatch being guarded by Armstead. Slows it down, gets it to Martin. Martin's going to try to put up a shot from 7 feet out. He's being double teamed on that play. Nice defense by Massey as he gets the rebound as well. Derek Anima in the key. Spin move, puts it up, draws the foul. Bobby Martin putting his hands up in the air. He's going to get called for it. His second foul on Martin.
And going back to the Glacier Peak side, it really looks like Glacier Peak is utilizing a two-man attack, Hatch and Barton. I mean, they've scored the majority of Glacier Peak's points.
And Anima at the line shooting 2. This trip to the free throw line brought to you by our friends over at Edmonds Community College. Eric hits the second as well. It's his 6th point of the quarter as well as for the game as Carson Dallas checking back in with his 2 fouls. And Anima's going to get a rest, his first of the game, I believe. See what the Hawks can do without their leading scorer and leading rebounder. They trail by 4 right now, 27-23. And you're absolutely right, Irvin. It has been a two-man show so far on offense for the most part. Hatch and Martin picking up most of the points. They're both in double figures already, and Glacier Peak only has 27, so you do the math. It's quite a few points. Hatch with a long three. Hits that one off the front iron. Seether gets the rebound. Southern, he tries to kick it over to Hatch. Hatch had a good look, missed the shot. Altenberger coming away with it, grabs it. And they're going to say the ball was on the line. Turn over to Glacier Peak. On the line and up on the scores table. That shut the computer of Vince DeMuro there briefly.
I've always thought it was a scary moment when the ball goes into the audience or when, in the stands or on scores table.
Ball is dished over to Martin. Martin looking for Hatch. Hatch being guarded by Altenberger. Wilson's going to try a three. No, they're going to whistle it and say offensive foul before the shot. Let's see who they call that one on. They call it the illegal screen on Southern, his first. Hey, 2:22 to go. We want to say special thank you as the Hawks are coming up or special hello as the Hawks are coming up the floor right now. Actually, we'll hold off on that. I want to get into that a little bit more in a moment when we have a bigger break. Altenberger kicks it over to Johnson. Dallas, then Massey. Hawks trying to cut this 4-point deficit down, maybe to one. Altenberger puts up a long three, misses it. Comes down into the hands of Bobby Martin. With 1:58 to go here. Glacier Peak pushing it back up. Hatch with another three. Misses this shot. Dallas goes up for the rebound. I believe it's going to, no, they're going to say it was last touched by, they're going to finally say it was last touched by Mountlake Terrace. And quite frankly, I think that was the right call. It looked initially like they were going to maybe give the ball to Glacier Peak. The one referee came in and corrected the other one.
And Hawks really, really avoided a scare right there. I mean, how hot has Hatch been, and to miss a wide open look? I mean,
Zach Hatch, when he gets going, he doesn't miss much. And saw that in the district game last year. I think he hit 7 3-pointers or 8 3-pointers in a game, and he's already showing that he has a hot hand tonight. He's got 12 already. Ball gets kicked out to Wilson. Wilson for a three. He's off the mark. Ball comes down to Massey. Massey kicks it to Armstead. Over to Daniel Johnson. 1:34 to go here in the half. Massey with a three. In and out. Ball bounces off of Hatch. Going to the ground is Martin and Dallas. Martin, as he's spinning to the ground, kicks it over to Hatch. Tatro on the other end. He misses the shot. Daniel Johnson gets it, looks to push. Doesn't have the numbers, but he's going to drive anyway. Puts it up off the back iron, misses it. Massey bats it around a couple times. Not able to get it. The referees are going to say last touch by Mountlake Terrace. A lot of the Hawks are screaming that it was not, in fact, the case.
And, of course, the loudest is always head coach Nayland Sood.
Quite a few Hawks over there yelling for that one. They didn't get it, however. 1:10 to go here in the half. 27-23 is our score. It's Southern with the ball. Kicks it over to Wilson. Back to Southern. Taking their very sweet time right now are the Grizzlies. Finally, Brandon Tatro with the ball. Gets batted away briefly by Daniel Johnson. Nice defense by the Hawks. And they're finally going to say that Kyrie Armstead caught part of his arm. And that shot clock was running pretty low when that happened. Hawks looking to trap him, and the referee just said that he grabbed part of his arm, and that's going to send Tatro to the line, shooting 1-and-1.
Tatro was in a bad situation. I mean, getting double teamed and not knowing where to pass it to.
Makes the first shot. I want to take a moment here as Kyle Dvorak getting ready to check in. No, they're going to now send him back. And number 23, Noah Foreman checking in for the first time tonight as Bobby Martin heads to the bench. Tatro with his first point of the night, 46.2 seconds to go. Hits the second as well. And hey, while we have a moment, I want to say a special hello to Tim Chapman, who's watching the game tonight. Tim, a longtime teacher here at Mountlake Terrace, a volunteer assistant coach, academic advisor for the Mountlake Terrace Hawks. Daniel Johnson with the long two. He connects. Tim, we understand you're resting comfortably over at Swedish Hospital, and Tim had a little bit of a health scare yesterday, which got him checked into the hospital, but he was texting with Vince DeMuro earlier and said he was going to try to watch the game tonight. So, Tim, we wish you nothing but the very best. A very good friend to all of us and to this basketball program. Would rather be saying hello to you in the gym than at a hospital, though. So you take care of yourself and get back here. 6 seconds to go in the half, 29-25. Hatch with the ball, tries to find Foreman down low. He does. Kicks it over to Wilson. He misses the shot, and we've come to the end of the first half. An exciting first half at that. Glacier Peak 29, Mountlake Terrace 25. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have a special interview for you on the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show. Stay tuned.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the Westco Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out athletics.com, the official website conference.
And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network, where we are at halftime here at Mountlake Terrace High School. The score, Mountlake Terrace 25, Glacier Peak 29. We have two very special guests joining us right now. Tara Zool and Sandy Merton, both with the All Sports Booster Club here at Mountlake Terrace High School. And joining us to talk about a very special night coming up on February 20th. And first of all, I guess we should just kind of talk briefly about what exactly the All Sports Booster Club is. And Tara, you've been a part of it for quite a while now. Talk to us about how big the Sports Booster Club is and maybe what it's comprised of. Is it mostly parents? Is it volunteers? Is it community members? What is the All Sports Booster Club?
The Sports Booster Club is made up of parents, coaches, alums, community members, and our object is to support the student athletes through the 22 Hawk sports teams.
Now, support them financially, right? Because I think the misconception, I guess, if you will, is that these sports teams are all funded by the district and by taxes, right? Everything's paid for. Is that not the case?
No, there's decreasing budgets and increasing needs. So that's where we come into play, is to help supplement.
So Sandy, essentially what isn't paid for, that's what you guys are supplementing,
Yeah,
right?
we pay for what's not paid for, which is a lot.
It's more than people think.
We supplement uniforms and more equipment and special needs that the sports teams ask us to help them with.
And so that's what we're doing. And I guess there have been various ways to do that over the years in terms of a lot of the sports in the past have kind of gone out and done fundraising on their own. The football team has had their own booster club, and they've had their own galas, if you will, or I guess it's been more of an auction and a dinner. And this year, all of the sports teams have decided to come together and put on one large event. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Yes, collaboration.
A collaboration between all of the teams, and that is coming up on February 20th. Let's talk about the Building Bridges Gala. Did I get the name right?
Building Bridges Dinner Gala and Auction.
And that is coming up on February 20th, and I'm excited about it. I get to MC
too.
that night, so thank you for letting me be a part of that. And tell everybody out there what exactly this event is going to be, what is it going to involve, maybe how they can get tickets as well. First of all, what is the event? What all is it going to be happening that night?
We're going to have a silent auction, a live auction, games, did I say
Comedian.
dinner? A comedian, a
Dinner.
comedy show, DJ
And-
Tony Burns,
And a
yes.
comedian that people know, right? It's
Local comedian Kermit Apio.
Kermit Apio, who lives in the Mountlake Terrace area, but is known nationally for being a comic.
Yep.
And so, yes, it's kind of a special night. It's February 20th. It's a Saturday.
Yep.
It's at Linwood High, or not Linwood High School. Linwood. I'm so used to talking high school sports. It's at the Linwood Convention Center that night. So kind of a special deal for us. Is this is it a suit and tie event? Is it formal? What are we looking at here?
Come as you would like. So it's business casual or athletic shorts, whatever you're most comfortable in, or you could dress up.
And all ages, certain ages. What are we looking?
18 and up, non-students.
Non-students. So if you're a student at Mountlake Terrace High School,
Can't come.
we'd like for you to stay away. The teachers might be there, and they want to be able to
Enjoy.
the night and not have to worry about students being there in their presence, so to speak.
Right.
And so, if people want to find out, well, I guess I should ask too. This auction is kind of a big deal. Some nice items up for bid, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this isn't just we're not just talking about little $5-10 items here. These are nice prizes. And
Yeah.
can you kind of go over the list of maybe some of the things that may or may not be available that night?
We have some signed footballs, Russell Wilson, John Ryan, some trips. We have a day at the races down at the Emerald Downs.
Yeah, some of our trips are, the MLT News article mentioned Sun Valley, Reno, Chelan, Lake Chelan. Those are some, and we may even have an exotic trip. The committee hasn't decided officially yet, but we can throw that in. Cam Chancellor signed helmet. So yeah,
A
there's
lot of good stuff.
some car details. I mean, it's all of the teams have been procuring. So you've got 22 athletic teams. Those that are on the committee and are procuring, we've got great items.
And if people want to donate items for this, they can still do so, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And how would they go about doing that?
So tickets, sponsorships, and donated items can all be done through the website, and the website is a really long link, so I would say the best place to find that is either the school's not Facebook page, but homepage, or the Facebook page, Building Bridges Dinner Galas and Auction.
So Facebook, Building Bridges,
Dinner, Gala, and Auction.
And auction, okay. Which is nice because we're on YouTube, so they can go back, listen to that again, pause it a couple times, and they can get the whole thing, right? If they need to, they can contact us too. Either contact us on Twitter if they need to, either at the school's website here. If they want to get a hold of me at Steve Willits, we'll get them more information. But it should be a fun night. And there will be a cash bar, correct?
Yep, cash bar. And
great food, I hear.
yes, the catering is really good.
We
and
invite the whole community to come down and support the Hawks.
So you don't have to be a Mountlake Terrace
No.
graduate or a parent, right?
Absolutely
I mean,
not.
this is for everybody.
Correct.
Yeah, there'll be
And
some good games and the dessert dash as well.
That's
And there's a lot of fun people.
We're gonna. Hey, I will promise people right now. I can't. No money back guarantees, but the three of us are going to be there, and I think we're going to have a ton of fun that night. So certainly, we invite everybody in the community to come out. Once again, that is the Building Bridges Dinner and Gala, Saturday, February 20th. It starts at what time that night?
Doors open at 5, and then dinner and live program is at 7:30.
And it goes all the way up until we'll be there
11
until around 11 o'clock. So hey, if you were planning on going out that night anyway, why not pay it forward, pay it to the kids, the athletes around here, pay for these programs so that we can continue to provide uniforms, trips, whatever it might be, whatever they need, whatever the school needs to supplement. This is a great way to do that, and hey, maybe a great way to get some prizes and bid on some items in the process, right?
Yep.
So perfect. So again, Tara Zool, Sandy Merton, we appreciate both of you not only for coming on the air with us, but really for everything that both of you do for this school and for the community. I know you're both heavily involved Tara, your son graduated, 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
And we were all worried that when your son graduated, we were going to lose you because you've been such a valuable commodity. You stayed with us, so thank you. And Sandy, we've got you with 3 kids here at the school, so we may not let you leave for a while.
Not for a while.
Okay, so, hey, we'll let you get back to it. But thank you very much, both of you, for coming on, and looking forward to seeing you on February 20th.
All right, go Hawks.
Thanks.
There we go. So, again, that is Tara Zool, Sandy Merton. We appreciate them for coming on. And we're going to take a 30-second break. When we come back, we'll get you to the third quarter of action. You're watching the Action at Jackson Plumbing halftime report here on the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Hawks ball to begin the second half.
And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Steve Willits along with Irvin Zhang. Hawks with the ball first to start the second half of play. And Derek Anima is going to pick up his dribble, swings it over to Altenberger. Down low to Shimron Masih. Masih with a hook shot. He gets that one to fall from about 10 feet out. Masih, who had 9 points in the first quarter, was shut out in the second. Picks up that basket. He now has 11 for the ball game. Hawks now only down by 2, 29-27. As Seaver Southern kicks it over to Kyle Dvorak. Should mention, in case anybody's wondering from the Glacier Peak side of things, as Dvorak floats up a 10-footer and misses it. Zach Argue, one of the starters for Glacier Peak usually. A nice pass by Altenberger into Masih. Hawks tie it up. Beautiful play as Altenberger drew the defense into him as he drove baseline from the left side. Masih was on the right side of the basket. Easy bucket at that point.
That was great slashing by Altenberger, great aggressiveness, as well as a good fundamental finish by the receiver.
Hawks tied for the first time since it was 0-0. That pass comes into Martin, almost floated it away. 29-29. Hatch swings over to Dvorak. Guffey over to Bobby Martin. Martin for 3, he hits. Martin, who was a little bit quiet in that second quarter, only had 2 points after scoring 8 in the first. Comes out firing here in the third quarter, 32-29 now. Glacier Peak back out on top. By the way, Irvin, as often is the case when you're speed talking and broadcasting a game, sometimes the tongue gets tied and the names get twisted. I was saying hello to Tim Cashman earlier, not Tim Chapman, so I appreciate a couple of people pointing it out. Great play, Armstead down to Masih. Masih, the recipient on 2 different occasions in a row from great passes by his Hawks teammates. And on the other end here, Southard's going to get fouled. But yeah, Tim Cashman was who we were saying hello to, not Tim Chapman. Of course I know Tim's name. I used to know a Tim Chapman, and apparently that was coming out of my mouth at the time. But as we said earlier, Tim Cashman resting very comfortably, we hope, in a hospital. And we're told he's watching the game tonight online. So Tim Cashman, if you are watching, we hope you're enjoying what you're seeing so far. And I know who you're rooting for, as you've been a part of this basketball team for many, many years. And hoping the Hawks can get a victory for you tonight. Dvorak with the pass from Patch misses the close, couldn't get it to go. Hawks coming down to the other side. They've got a chance to take the lead now as they've yet to have a lead in this game with 5:45 to go here in the third quarter. Armstead just flat out spun and hit that one off of his foot. Turns over to Glacier Peak.
And that's a young mistake. You know, as a sophomore, he hasn't had much run on a varsity level playing field, and that's just one of those. Live and learn.
Turns that one over to GP. 5:32 to go here in the third quarter. Guffey to Martin, over to Southard. Finds Hatch cutting across. Puts up a shot, misses it. I believe that would have been a long two, as it looked as though his foot was right on the line. Doesn't matter either way. The ball comes spinning off. Over to the Hawks. Anima, he gets fouled before the shot. See who they call that one on. Southard's going to pick up a foul, his second. First team foul here in the half against Glacier Peak. Shimron Massey with the ball. Gets over to Altenberger. Altenberger looking down low for Anima. Anima shuffles his feet and gets called for the travel. Anima doesn't like the call. I, however, disagree with him. I saw that shuffle from the get-go there, and so did the referees. 32-31 is our score here. 5:01 to go, third quarter. In what is becoming a very good ball game. Bobby Martin from 16 feet out. Couldn't get that one to fall. Daniel Johnson bringing it up. Hawks still looking for their first lead of the night. Johnson from 17, he hits!
Coast
Daniel.
to coast. Wow, that was impressive.
Daniel doesn't do a lot of scoring for this team, but he always seems to come up with big buckets, and not the first time he's given the Hawks a lead this year in the second half. Martin going right to the hoop. And they're going to call the charge. Shimron Massey draws it.
Shimron Massey is having a great game on the glass. He's got, 6 rebounds. Points-wise, he's been there for the Hawks. And now defensively, too, taking charges and everything.
6 rebounds, you say, huh? That goes along with his 13 points. That's a pretty nice night for midway through the third quarter.
And for someone who's been, relinquished to the bench and having to adjust to different roles all the times, he's doing one heck of a job.
His season high, by the way, is 18. We'll see if he gets there tonight. Had that against Edmonds Woodway in the game earlier this year. 4:13 to go. Hawks with their first lead of the night, looking for more, and they get it. Gabe Altenberger uses the backboard, floats that one in. He now has 7 for the game. 35-32 Hawks. We're at the 4-minute mark here in the third quarter. Southern with the ball up on top. He's going to put up a 3, and it's blocked. Armstead having to come over the back of Dvorak to get that block. Using the long wingspan. Great play. That might be the defensive play of the night right there. Hawks go back on the other end. Armstead trying to set things up. Long 3 off the mark. That was Daniel Johnson, just a bit short from that right corner. Here come the Grizzlies on the other end. Bobby Martin finally pulls up, brings it back out. Southern to Dvorak. Back to Southern. 19 to go on the shot clock. 35-32 Hawks. This is for the tie. Southern misses it. Ball ricochets off the side of the rim and goes out of bounds. And Brandon Tetral is going to check back in for Glacier Peak. Just got sent a score over from another Wesco game. It's a 4A game tonight as Monroe leading Jackson 30-29 at halftime.
Wow.
Always fun to see other scores from the area. It's a Jackson team fighting for second place right now. Shimron Massey thought about the shot, kicks over to Johnson. Nice one-handed pass down low to Altenberger. Can't finish, however. Anima goes up hard for the rebound, comes down and loses it as he gets tied up by a few Glacier Peak Grizzlies. And on the other end, wow, 2 guys getting hit in the face there as Guffey and Armstead both drawing a lot of contact. They're going to say it was incidental. And on the other end, Altenberger and Southern get tied up, and I believe we're going to get a foul called against Southern.
That was one heck of a block by Armstead. To meet him at the apex of the shot, wow.
It did, in fact, call it on Southern, his third team foul against Glacier Peak. Yeah, Armstead with 2 big blocks here in the third quarter now. As Gabe Powder gets ready to check back in for the Hawks. 2:38 to go. Looking along that sideline is Shimron Massey with a 3. Hawks with their biggest lead of the night, 38-32. Massey now with 7 points here in the quarter. On the other end, it goes off Martin's hand right into Brandon Titrol's. Armstead gets his hand on it. However, Southern's able to come away with it. Long pass to Guffey from left to right. Guffey misses the shot. Armstead comes away with it. 3-on-1. He's pushing. Kicks over to Johnson. He finishes it. The Hawks with an 8-point lead. Oh, and they're correcting the basket by saying that Massey shot the possession before that was a 2-pointer, not a 3-pointer. So the referee came over to correct that. So they've corrected the scoreboard. So rather than it being a 40-32 game, it is a 39-32 game. Either way, the Hawks with their biggest lead of the night at 7.
And earlier I mentioned the trend of the Hawks' slow start. Well, one thing about that trend is in the second half, they always pick it back up. And it looks like this is going to play right into that trend.
They've outscored Glacier Peak 14-3 here in the third quarter so far. 2:03 to go here in the quarter. Tatral with the ball, right wing. Swings it back to Southard. 1:51 to go. Southard gets over to Tatral. Tatral puts up a 3. Hits off the back iron. Carson Dallas goes up, gets the rebound. Looks to pass it off. He's got 2 guys on him. Finally kicks it over to Powder. Powder now being double teamed. Hawks need to get it past the line. It goes off the foot of Hatch. They are going to give it a new 35-second clock. They say the ball was in fact kicked. So resets the 35-second clock.
So Steve, going back to your 14-3 outscoring of the Hawks, I think that the reason for that, or the thing I attribute it most, is the Hawks are forcing Glacier Peak to play chaotic basketball. You know, they're not giving them much time to get their offense together.
18 seconds to go here on the shot clock. 1:19 to go for the quarter. Hawks already with a 14-3 advantage in the quarter, looking for more right now. Johnson's going to drive into the lane. Underhand layup, gets it to go. No, they're going to say it was a charge. Justin Guffey stood his ground. They made contact. Nayland Sue doesn't like the call at all. He feels that Guffey moved into him. Doesn't matter what he thinks, however. The referee gets the ultimate call. And the charge is, in fact, what we get against Johnson. He picks up his first. 39-32 with 1:10 to go here, third quarter. Shimron Massey looking to check back in. That's Southard with the ball. Southard's going to go into the lane, puts up a shot, gets it to go, and draws a foul.
Looks like head coach Nayland Sood is going to be calling on number 41, Shimron's number, a lot in this game.
And that foul's on Anima, his second. Anima comes to the bench. He's going to take a break with 58.5 seconds to go in the third quarter. Southern, who has 5 points on the night so far, looks for number 6. One free throw. Misses it. Massey goes up, gets the board. Great job by Shimron. Armstead gets trapped, however, he draws contact. They're going to call a foul on Southern, and I believe that's Southern's fourth. It is, in fact, his fourth. Starting point guard for the Grizzlies is in a bit of trouble now, and we're not even into the fourth quarter yet.
And it's going to be interesting how the Glacier Peak coach handles this situation.
Powder finally getting across the line. He's going to go all the way. Puts up a shot. Misses it. Dallas there to try to clean it up. He puts up a shot. Leaves it very short. Misses everything. Glacier Peak coming on the other end. Tatral for 3. Hits off the front iron. Massey grabs yet another rebound. Shot clock is now off with 29 seconds to go in the quarter. Glacier Peak once again looking to trap. Hawks get it across the line. Armstead gets over into the right corner. Draws a lot of contact, and he gets fouled.
And just a quick update, unofficially, Massey is right now at 9 rebounds.
9 rebounds, and we have a full quarter left to play as Tatral gets called for his second foul. That's the 5th foul against Glacier Peak now. 22.3 seconds to go in the quarter. Hawks by 5. Powder in the corner. Getting double teamed again. Guffey coming out to guard him, as is Wilson. Finally gets the ball over to Armstead. Joey Gardner left the game in the first quarter with an injury. We haven't heard any update on him yet. Daniel Johnson slashes in through the key. Right along that left side, he lays it in. He now has 6 points for the quarter. Final shot, good if it goes, and Hatch hits the front of the rim. It bounces off, and that quarter belongs to Mountlake Terrace. Outscoring Glacier Peak 16-5. They lead 41-34 heading to the fourth. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. 8 minutes of play left in regulation. The Hawks, who trailed this entire game in the first half, just explode in the third quarter. They now lead by 7. Bobby Martin, the sophomore, goes one-on-one with Dallas. Finally kicks it back out. And picking the pocket of Zach Hatch is Kyrie Armstead, looking to go all the way, puts it up and in! Kyrie Armstead coming alive here in this half. Doesn't have a lot of points so far in this game, but he's played a ton of defense. Huge reason why the Hawks only gave up 5 points in that third quarter is Martin comes down and answers it with a bucket and draws a foul against Dallas.
You know, as a fan, I would love that this turned into sophomore versus sophomore. Future of both schools versus the other future.
I don't know if it's the future. It might be the present, the way these two guys are playing right now. I think they've arrived, both of them.
Yeah, this might be their coming out party.
Well, Martin's had like I said, he had a 28-point game last week, and he's had a few 20-point games this year, so I think he's already been on the scene, but you're right. It is fun to watch knowing that we're going to watch these two guys for a couple more years. Unfortunately, we may not be watching them play each other.
Yeah.
Hawks getting trapped. Brian Hunter was furious. He wanted a 10-second call, and you know what? Looking up at that shot clock, I think he was right. That clock was already under 25 when they crossed the center line. Hawks might catch a little break there as Martin gets called for his 4th foul.
A lot of foul trouble plaguing the Glacier Peak side of the ball.
And Daniel Johnson heads to the line shooting 2 in this trip to the free throw line, brought to you by Edmonds Community College. Daniel Johnson hits the first.
I will say that Johnson's exhibiting the most basketball IQ I've ever seen him play. I mean, that Euro step was the right move for that instance. He's made a lot of other key moves to get into the paint.
Johnson's season high for the year coming into tonight was an 8-point game against Arlington. As he misses that shot, ball goes off of Dallas and out of bounds. Johnson right now has 11 points for the game, 7 of which have come in this second half, so this is his season high right now. First time all season he's been in double digits and playing a very vital part as to the comeback of these Hawks. Tatral swings it over to Guffey. Guffey down low to Martin. We're going to get contact before the shot. Or perhaps away from the ball. That's exactly what they're going to call. They're warning Armstead and Hatch, who have been going at it pretty hard. So it was away from the ball. It was called on Armstead.
One thing I've noticed about Kyrie Armstead and all the games I've seen of him for Terrace is he's a very aggressive defender, and sometimes the refs don't like it because he might do a little too much extracurricular activities.
He and Hatch are having a pretty good battle out there, the senior versus the sophomore. It's his 3rd foul as Guffey gets into the lane, floats one up from 8 feet out, fade away. He thought he drew contact as well.
I swear that shot could have touched the ceiling with how high that arc was.
We're going to get a 30-second timeout called here by Coach Brian Hunter and the Grizzlies, so we'll keep it here while we await this timeout. That was Guffey's first field goal of the game. Guffey, the starting shooting guard, and definitely has not put up the big numbers he had last year. He helps the team out in a lot of other ways, but not having some of the big point nights we've seen him have in the past. Matter of fact, that's his first points of the game, as he missed 2 free throws in the first quarter. 6:52 to go, as we mentioned earlier. This is a battle in which both teams really have a shot at second place still. Mountlake Terrace, we're taking Shorecrest out of that equation as they're not eligible for playoff contention, but if you take them out, Mountlake Terrace was holding that number 2 spot heading into the night with a record of 5-3. A game and a half behind them, tied for 3rd, was Glacier Peak and Shorewood, both with a 4-5 record. If Glacier Peak loses this game tonight, that'll put them 3 losses behind Terrace. And that'll give Terrace a nice little cushion as they head into their final stretch of the regular season. If you get second place in this division, you get a first-round home game in district play against a number 3 team from Wesco North, which is kind of weak this year. It's a down year for the North. So really it's a pretty big deal if you can get that spot, and the Hawks are fighting hard for it right now. Armstead coming away with that missed shot. Gets the rebound, hits the deck, gets it to Anima. Anima finally loses it as he goes into the key. Guffey on the other end. Underhand pass to Hatch off the backboard and in. Gorgeous play by Hatch and Guffey. Guffey looked as though like he might be getting ready to lose the ball. Just kind of shuffled it underhanded to Hatch, and Hatch threw it off the backboard, and that one's going to go off Armstead's foot, I believe. They're going to say it was last touched by a Glacier Peak player with 6:17 to go.
It was Brendan Tetrolt that luckily for the Hawks went off of.
So Tetrolt touches it last. 28 seconds to go on the shot clock. Hawks by 3 with 6:17 to go. Waltenberger swings it over to Johnson. Johnson looking down low, looking for Anima. Anima loses it between his feet. Goes behind him, and Bobby Martin gets it, and they're going to say Martin traveled while on the ground.
That was a good call. He did turn over.
Anima a little frustrated that he lost the ball to begin with, but all works out just the same. If anything, it works out better for the Hawks. They get a new 35-second clock out of it. 6:07 to go here, fourth quarter, 44-41. Mountlake Terrace by 3. Altenberger 4-3. Hits inside the rim, misses the shot. Altenberger tips it on the other end. It comes down to Tetrolt. That ball was inside the cylinder. The Altenberger 3 just popped right back out. Glacier Peak losing it on the other end. Anima to Altenberger, dishes to Johnson, cutting to the hoop, and he lays it in. Johnson now with 9 points here in the half, 13 for the game. Hawks back out by 5 with 5:38 to go. Hatch for 3. He misses that shot. Daniel Johnson grabs a rebound. Johnson still having himself a heck of a second half. He's going to go coast to coast, puts it up and draws a foul on. Is that Bobby Martin? I think it is, and if it is, if my numbers are right, he might have just fouled out. That is, in fact, the 5th foul on Bobby Martin. Martin, who had 10 points in the first half, 16 for the game. He's had a huge night tonight, and if he's gone for the game, that is a big blow for the Grizzlies, and that is, in fact, the case.
I think this also might be Daniel Johnson's coming out party.
It's been Daniel. It has, in fact, been that. It's certainly been his coming out half as he steps to the line for 2. Referees are pulling Martin out right now as Seaver Southard comes back in for him. And this trip to the free throw line for Daniel Johnson is brought to you by Edmonds Community College.
And with Southard coming in, that doesn't really help them with the foul trouble because he has 4 fouls himself.
Have to watch how he plays defense now, knowing that he has those 4 fouls. Johnson misses the first free throw. Gets ready for a second shot. He is now 6 for 12 on the year at the free throw line. Make it 7 for 13 after that one. Actually, we'll call it 8 for 15. He shot 2 earlier in the quarter. Just a bit over 50%. 2 for 4 in the night. 47-41, Hawks by 6. 5:19 to go. It's number 12, Jack Weigert, in for the first time tonight. Ball swinging around, and Southard hits the 3. His second of the game. He now has 8 points on the evening. Makes it a 47-44 game. Anima going up against Guffey. Finally gets some help from Wygant and Hatch. Kicks it over to Massey. Massey from 13 feet out, in and out. Pops out. Southard grabs the rebound.
And that's demoralizing for the Hawks. I mean, they had an open look, and it just spins right out of the rim.
Both teams have seen their share of those tonight. 47-44 Hawks. And Armstead blocks it from behind. I don't know if there was contact. I didn't see it. Referees felt otherwise, and they're going to call Kyrie for the foul.
I don't think I've ever heard this gym this loud in a long time. Wow. That was a united, unanimous outrage.
Armstead with 4 fouls here in the game. It's going to send Southard to the line, shooting 2. 4:39 to go on the clock. Southard hits the first.
How the Grizzlies handled this situation, being down halfway through the fourth quarter, would define how they're able to handle stretches like this, maybe in the postseason if they were to reach there, and other, as we approach the end of the regular season.
Southard hits the second one as well. He now has 10 for the game as Gabe Powder checks back in. Should mention during the quarter break, I went over to Shannon Ripley, the trainer for Mountlake Terrace, and I asked her how Joey Gardner was doing, and she gave me a very short answer. She said, Joey's out for the game. So That's journalism speak for we don't want to give you much information right now, and we understand that. So Joey, who hit his head on the court earlier, he did walk off on his own. During the first quarter of play, he has not returned and will not return tonight, which means we've seen a lot more point guard play from Gabe Powder as well as Kyrie Armstead for that matter. Powder needing to inbound the ball. He's got Johnson in the corner, doesn't see him, finally kicks over to Massey. Altenberger dribbling along that wing, kicks it back out to Powder. It's a 1-point game, 4:21 to go here in the fourth quarter. Glacier Peak on a 5-0 run. The Hawks looking to end it right now. Johnson for three. He hits it! Daniel Johnson is on fire tonight.
This is his night.
13 points in the second half alone.
The rim is as wide as ever for him, and his eyes are just starting to light up.
He's now surpassed. He's more than doubled his season high for the year in a game. He has 17 now as Guffey misses that shot. Anima goes up for it and gets the rebound. I mentioned earlier, Johnson's season high was 8 points. He has 17 already tonight. Anima going coast to coast. Misses it, but Massey toops it in. Shimron. First bucket of the fourth quarter for him. The Hawks back up by 6.
And that's a double-double as he finally hit his unofficial 10th rebound.
Southard on the other end. He hits his third three of the night. Makes it a 3-point game with 3:33 to go. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got a good one here. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Glacier Peak has 2 full timeouts remaining. Mountlake Terrace.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings,
And welcome back to the Terraceum in Mountlake Terrace, where we've got a great ball game going here. 3:33 to go. Make that 3:32 as we just lost a second on that throw-in that was kicked off of the foot of one of the Glacier Peak players. Mountlake Terrace holding on to a 3-point lead. If you joined us late, you've missed a great ball game. Glacier Peak with a 9-point lead in the second quarter. Actually, it was in the first quarter at one point even. Led the entire first half. Mountlake Terrace came storming back with a 16-5 third quarter. They've been up by as many as 7, and now they lead by 3 with 3:18 to go. Daniel Johnson, 17 points tonight. Gabe Altenberger kicks it over to Massey. Massey swings it back out to Powder. Powder to Johnson in the corner! Left that one short. Ball was tipped by Southard out of bounds, and the Hawks will keep the ball. Daniel Johnson, 17 points tonight.
With the way this night's been going for him, I really thought that was going to go in.
You talk about a guy having a touch. Johnson averages 3.6 points per game this season so far. 3.6 points per game, and he has 17 tonight.
Yeah.
That's about 6 games worth right there for him. It's a little bit less than that, but you know what I'm saying.
And with the Hawks, next man up in mentality, and everybody is just part of the team. That fits in perfectly.
Anima saves that one from going out of bounds. Gets over to Armstead, getting double teamed right now. Looks for Johnson. Over to Anima. Nice pass by Daniel. Derek gets down low, floats one underhand and misses it. Gets his own rebound, puts it in. Anima with his first points of the half. He has 8 on the night. 54-49 Hawks.
To go with the 8 points, unofficially he has 7 rebounds as well. 4 of them offensive.
Another good night for Anima. And Anima doesn't always have to get it done on the score sheet. He just always plays tough, whether it's rebounding or scoring, passing the ball.
As well as his leadership, too, especially in the locker room.
Great point, especially his leadership. Hatch for 3, drains it. Zach Hatch. He now has 17 for the game. 54-52, 2:18 to go. This one might come down to last possession the way it's going right now. Altenberger in the corner for three. He misses the shot. Nice job by Shimron Masih. Masih puts it back in. Masih with yet another board. Trying to see what he has for the night unofficially.
He has 4 offensive rebounds and now 11 total rebounds.
Unbelievable. Tatrell on the other end hits the back iron. That would have put this in within 1. Armstead gets the rebound. Draws body from Guffey, and Guffey's going to get called for a foul. It's going to put Armstead at the line shooting 1-and-1 with 1:49 to go. 56-52.
One thing I will say is I just saw Coach Sue jump up and down, and it really looked like he's still spry enough to be able to go out there on the court.
Looks can be deceiving, too. Coach will watch this later. I'll give him a hard time. But you're right. Coach keeps himself in good shape, and he's always active on the sideline there. Shot is missed. Anima gets the rebound. He draws a foul. And Derek's going to go to the line shooting 1-and-1.
One thing I'll say is he certainly has the energy part down.
They're going to call that on Guffey. Guffey now with 4 fouls. 2 in the last 5 seconds of play. So Guffey playing with 4 fouls. Southard playing with 4 fouls. They're checking to see if Anima has any blood on him. If he's bleeding at all, he has to come out. He got popped in the mouth on that play. I think he's kind of licking on his lip, and the referee now saying that he has to come out. So Gabe Powder is going to come in and shoot the free throws for Anima.
I will say I've never had a situation like this come up where I never witnessed it throughout all my years of watching high school basketball. This is interesting.
Powder 7 for 11 from the free throw line coming into the night, and he hasn't shot one yet tonight. And the freshman, Austin Pat's coming into the game for the first time. Oh, no, they're going to, nope, he's going to stay in the game. Oh, actually, Petz is a junior. It's Foreman, the other player that's a freshman, and Powder misses the front end of the 1-and-1.
I was going to say, I've never seen a freshman with a beard. Wow.
I knew they had 2 guys that aren't usually on the team in their lineup tonight, and one of them was Foreman, and Foreman's the freshman. I got the 2 confused, but Petz is a junior, and he is in. Southard driving into the lane, puts up a shot, gets that one to fall with 1:30 to go. Southard with 10 points here in the quarter. It's a 56-54 game, 1:23 left. Hawks need to make sure they get that ball across. Glacier Peak putting a lot of pressure on them. And Mountlake Terrace is going to call a timeout, a 30-second timeout. We'll take a 30-second break. 1:16 to go. Hawks by 2. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. 1:16 remaining. Hawks by 2. Hawks with the ball, but they're in the backcourt. Glacier Peak looking to put a trap on them here. Armstead with the basketball. Kicks it over to Gabe. Gabe kicks it back, finally getting across the line just in time to Daniel Johnson. Johnson kicks over to Altenberger. 1:02 to go on the clock. 14 to go on the shot clock. Daniel Johnson kicks it down low to Anima behind him. Anima had the ball go off briefly, and he gets on the ground and scrambles for it. We've got a tie-up. 52.9 seconds to go. Possession arrow to Mountlake Terrace. Great job by Derek Anima. That ball looked to be well in the possession of Jack Wygant. Wygant struggled to get a hold of it, and Anima noticed it, and he came flying in there to the ground and grabbed it. The Hawks with the possession arrow. They get the ball with 52.9 left. Masih grabs it on the inbound, finds Johnson cutting to the basket. He lays it in! Great job by Masih. Even better job by Johnson to cut to the basket, recognizing nobody was on him. Daniel has 19 for the night. The Hawks by 4 with 38 seconds to go. This is a must-have possession for Glacier Peak, and being blocked by 3 different Hawks. No foul called. Great play by 3 different defenders as Southern went up. And now they will call a foul, apparently.
Wow.
Said it was on Shimron Massey.
There was a lot of contact, but I thought it was after ball. That's a very crucial call.
32.3 seconds to go. They're going to say it was a non-shooting foul, so it was after the shot. It was as Southern was getting knocked to the ground. So it's a 1-on-1 situation as it's only the 7th foul against Mountlake Terrace here in the half. Big free throw coming up here for Seaver Southern, and he makes the first one.
And now bringing it within a 1-possession game. Realistically, the Glacier Peak Grizzlies are still within this game. A turnover could swing all the momentum towards their favor.
Southern has 11 points in the 4th quarter alone. Really the glue that's keeping Glacier Peak in this game right now in the 4th quarter. And Glacier Peak's going to call a 30-second timeout. Well, they're going to call a full timeout. We'll take a break. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is...
And welcome back to the Terraceum. 32.3 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. Mountlake Terrace 58, Glacier Peak 56. Mountlake Terrace to inbound the basketball in the backcourt. And this has been a struggle in this 4th quarter. Glacier Peak putting on a full court press, and they've come close to getting that basketball a few times. Daniel Johnson right back to Anima. He immediately gets fouled with 30.4 seconds to go. It's going to be called on Austin Petz, his first. That is the 10th team foul against Glacier Peak. So Derek Anima will step to the line in the double bonus, so he will be shooting 2. I mentioned earlier, Anima coming into this game shooting 71% from the free throw line. 2 for 2 tonight. Was scheduled to go to the free throw line a few moments ago when he had a bloody lip, and referees pulled him out because of that. He hits the first shot, a crucial free throw there. Makes it a 3-point game. And if Derek can hit this free throw, this would give the Hawks a 2-possession lead.
This is huge right here. All the pressure in the world.
Gets that one to go as well, and the Hawks are going to call a timeout. A 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here. Looking across the way here, by the way. Mountlake Terrace cheerleaders in the house tonight. They've got a big day tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Going to the state cheerleading championships. Their 3rd year in a row they've made it. The only times in state history that the Hawks have been there. That's down at the Alaska Airlines Arena tomorrow. I believe their performance time is 12:40. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So 12:40 tomorrow. If anybody's down in the area, go support those ladies. One of 3 schools in the Edmonds School District to make it. So Meadowdale and Linwood will be down there as well. But the Hawks get I want to say it's like a 3 or 4 minute performance. And a great job for them and for Jessica Ellersek, the coach, getting them to state one more time this year. I took them up until the last weekend to qualify. They had to come through in the clutch last week and get the victory to get to state, and it's kind of what their basketball team needs to do right now.
Hopefully it rubs off. I mean, they're cheering, so hopefully by example they'll be able to give some of the magic away.
Spread that mojo, right?
Yep, exactly.
We'll see here, 30.4 left. 4-point lead for the Hawks. Petz pushes it up the court to Southern. Anima comes out on him. You know they want that 3. Wigan has the ball. Kicks over to Southern. Hatch wants it. He's out on top, being guarded very closely by Altenberger. Getting into the key is Guffey. Guffey puts up a shot, misses it. Daniel Johnson comes down with it. Petz is all over him. No call as we finally get a whistle with 8 seconds left. And it looks as though the Hawks are going to go to the free throw line, and this game might be all but over.
That was great denied defense, especially denying Hatch. I mean, he's by far the greatest three-point shooter on their team. And not only that, he's been hot this game. So that was a picture-perfect possession for the Hawks.
So Daniel Johnson, 15 points in the half, 19 for the game. Step into the line, shooting 2. Misses the first one, looking for that 20-point mark. If the Hawks can hold on here, which it looks like they will run their conference record to 6-3 on the year. Hits that one. Daniel Johnson with 20 points tonight. 6 seconds to go. 5-point lead for the Hawks. Wigan's going to put up a 3. Misses that one. It bounces around. Guffey comes up with it. Puts up a shot on the run. Gets it to go. The basket counts, and the ball game is over. The Mountlake Terrace Hawks win a thriller here at the Terraceum, 61-58. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Game. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
The Hawks tonight were
And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Tonight, our final score, the Mountlake Terrace Hawks pulling out the victory. They defeat the Glacier Peak Grizzlies 61-58. And a guy we haven't talked to all season long, Daniel Johnson. Daniel, your season high coming into the night was 8 points. You scored 16 in the second half alone. What the heck was that all about?
I don't know. I was just feeling hot. They gave me lanes, gave me shots, so I just took them.
Now, this was a game in which you guys trailed by 9 in the first half, and I feel like a broken record because I seem like I say this to every Terrace player we interview here. You guys seem to always fall behind in that first half and make adjustments at the half. Was it something that Coach said? Was it just you guys playing a different game? What was it that you guys did in the second half that wasn't working in the first half?
Just play harder. Out-rebound them. Play hard, nose defense. I think we gave them 32 minutes of hell, and that's what we do every game. Just play 32 minutes of hell, and that's what we did in the second half.
Now, as far as your shooting tonight, like I said, you hadn't been really much of a scorer this year. I mean, you've come out and made some big shots this year. I think in a couple of games, the West Seattle game, I think you had the shot to go ahead. You seem to be kind of key when the crucial moment happens. Or do you feel any nerves when you get to that point, or is it just a confidence kind of oozing through you? What's going on? What's in your mind when you have to take those big shots?
I'm just stay confident. I know. I mean, I can be that X factor for the team, and I know that. So I'll just stay confident throughout the game, and when my time comes, I take it.
Now, down the stretch there, they were putting a little bit of a press on you guys in the backcourt there. You guys had to fight through that a few times.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit. It's something you guys work on in practice a lot,
Yeah,
right?
we knew that was coming, so we were just prepared for it, made the right passes, less turnovers, and we broke it.
I noticed a lot of times, too, in this game, you were the recipient of, and also you made some nice passes. A lot of cutting through the lane there and guys finding other guys. A lot of unselfish basketball tonight for the Hawks. Something you guys are kind of known for as well, right?
Yeah, team ball every game.
Every game, and you guys got a few more left. Hey, you're in second place right now. You know you want to get that home court game, right? So a big stretch here coming up. Are you guys ready for this this coming week?
Oh, yeah. We're always ready.
All right. They're always ready, and he was ready tonight. 20 points, 16 in the second half alone. Daniel Johnson, I know you got a couple of these from football season. You got one for basketball now. Go enjoy it. All right, so Daniel Johnson is our Adrenaline Fundraising Player of the Night. He ends the game with 20. We'll get Irvin Zhang in here one more time. Ashton is a photographer, a color commentator. He's doing a little bit of everything. And Irvin, nice night for the Hawks, and nice second half for the Hawks.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I said earlier, it was a tale of two halves, and for one, it was swung towards the Hawks.
Daniel Johnson said he just they come out and they 32 minutes of hell is the term he used. We'll usually try to use something a little more user-friendly or listener-friendly, but really they just stayed after it this whole game, and they got the W.
I mean, they forced chaotic basketball to be Glacier Peak's MO, and when you do that, I mean, you're probably going to win. Defense wins championships, and even though offense wins games, you know, that's what carried the Hawks to the finish line in this one.
Got to talk about a couple other guys, too. Shimron Masih, 19 points unofficially tonight. You had him down for double digits in rebounds as well.
11 rebounds.
11 rebounds to go with those 19 points, and Masih had some huge offensive boards, really, that he converted into baskets there late in the game as well.
Oh, he was forcing them to maybe bring two people to box him out at that point. I mean, and he would get by them, force up nice looks at the basket, and get those crucial looks to give that Hawks a cushion that they needed, especially at the very end.
And, of course, a couple other guys who didn't have big nights in the scorebook but had big nights. Kyrie Armstead, what can you say about him? 5 points tonight, but getting it done on defense.
Oh, the blocks. That block I told you earlier, that was one of the nicest blocks I've ever seen, and that includes at the collegiate and professional. I mean, they met him at the apex of the shot and just sent it back towards the ground.
And Derek Anima, big night for him.
I mean, what can I say about how much of a leader this guy is to the team? He's the first one on the ground, but yet he's just doing all the little things. He doesn't have to show up on the scoreboard, even though we know he can average 18 points a game if he wanted to take the shots. But he's everywhere. He's plaguing the opponents, making sure that they are not going to get what they want.
So the Hawks have 3 more games left before the playoffs start. Tuesday night they go to Shorecrest, a team they've already beaten once here this year, but a team that's in second place overall in the standings. Again, they can't unseed the Hawks for that playoff spot because they're a 2A team, but a team that's done very well this year. And then they finish it out on Friday night at Meadowdale, and then